Good afternoon. We are inside China business. The economy of Germany is in recession with all the key indicators, the important indicators heading in the wrong direction. Inflation is way up, cost of energy is way up, consumer spending is down, industrial production down. But last year, 2023, Germany had a record FDI, foreign direct investment, into China. The total FDI for Germany actually fell in 2023 compared to 2022, the year before. But the FDI that went into China hit an all-time record. German FDI in the first half of 2023 fell by 41 billion euro, which means that on a percentage basis, Germany's foreign direct investment into China went from under 12% to over 16%. German government officials and regulators are probably unhappy about this development. There are investigations underway in the EU right now about Chinese companies in the electric vehicle, the EV industry, also in solar power and in wind. The Chinese companies are putting a lot of the European ones out of business. And government regulators in Germany and across the EU are advising their companies to reduce their exposure to the China market. We'll come back to that a little bit later about reducing exposure to the China market. Let's look here at an analysis by Jürgen Mathis. He's an economist, and he finds that the largest German corporations, the biggest ones, are increasing their investments in China. But the small and the medium-sized ones are not doing so, and some of them are getting out of China completely. This feature is about German FDI into China, but we think that this is happening across US companies also. The biggest companies are doubling down. They're investing more, whereas smaller companies are staying away. And this is probably a fatal mistake long term for millions of small and medium-sized businesses. It's suicidal. This is a graphic that we've shown before. A few years ago, when satellite mapping got really good and regular people were able to access it for the first time, some researchers had an interesting project. They wanted to find out what's the smallest circle you could draw on the surface of the Earth where over half the population of the world lived inside that circle. And it turns out it's much harder to do than they thought in the beginning. It took them several months. But then they finally got their answer, and here it is. Here is a circle. In the middle of that circle is Yuxi, China. Yuxi is in southwest China near Kunming. If you are a business executive that wants to be a big company, this is a eureka moment. Eureka is what gold prospectors and miners would shout out when they found gold, because this is gold, this is money. It means that half the population of the planet is within a 6-hour plane ride of Kunming International Airport. It means that you can set up an office in this part of the world right here and be able to sell products and services to over 4 billion people. The other half of the world is spread out over Europe, Australia, Africa, North America, South America. But most of them are right here in this little circle. So the next question that a business executive is going to ask is, do these people actually have any money? And here's another graphic that we really like. We've shown this a few times. The answer is yes, and they're about to be getting a lot more money. More people in this part of the world will be joining the consumer class in the next 6 years than exist in North America and in Europe combined. In other words, this is where the people are. This is also where the money is, and this is where more money is going to be. By the way, this is also where most of the world's STEM and IT graduates are now. This is where everybody who has a cell phone can press a button and buy products and have them delivered to his house or office the next day. Are we able to do that from your company? Are we able to buy products and services on the platforms here from your firm? Do you have sales reps and sales offices here in this part of the world? So the top part of the chart, which is all in red, that's Asia. So China, India, Indonesia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, Iran, Malaysia, so on. Look at the percentage increases. Japan is down 3% and everyone else is up double digits. The US, which is in green, is up 4%. This all begs the question then, which is, if you're a company, why would you want to reduce your exposure to this market? When you see the biggest companies in the world, the biggest companies in Germany and the biggest US consumer brand companies like Coke and Starbucks and Disney and Amazon and Tesla and Apple, when you see the biggest companies on the planet, the richest companies, they're not pulling out. They're investing more. They're putting more money in. If you are a manager or an executive at a young, growing company, you need to find products and services that appeal to these 4+ billion people. The biggest US companies are trying to figure out how to do that. Now we see that the biggest German companies are trying to figure out how to do that. Why? Let's look at this chart again. So Germany will grow 0% between now and 2030. UK up 3, France up 3, Italy down 1. That's Europe. So if you're a big German company trying to figure out how to get through the next 10 years, where are you going to invest most of your money? In Europe or in Asia? Well, now we know. They don't think it's Europe. There is a part here in this article from Business Times about how the political leadership of Germany is divided on how to deal with the China question. We're going through the same thing in the United States, where there seems to be bipartisan, almost unanimous political agreement that our companies need to abandon the China market and, I don't know, I guess find 1 billion customers somewhere else. The winds of politics are always blowing. Wars come and go, presidents come and go, countries come and go. Business executives and industry managers, we have to act, decide rationally and dispassionately and make decisions that benefit our customers and our employees and, lastly, ourselves. This involves, most of all, ensuring the long-term viability and profitability of our businesses. That means we're always finding new markets. We're always finding new customers. We're always finding new products and new ways to deliver those products. We're always finding new ways to do things. And it means that we have to block out the noise that come from politicians who don't have a stake in our business, who have no role or an interest in our success. Politicians who won't even be there after the next election. Whomever you like between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I can tell you one thing with cosmic metaphysical certainty, which is that they will both be dead in 20 years. They won't be in government, they won't be anywhere. They'll be gone. In 20 years, there are 4 billion Asians who are going to have a lot more money to spend than they've got right now. And if your company isn't here, then you'll be dead too. Thank you. Be good.